live stream every night. Probably cut most of this out for clips, but speaking of clips, segue. But AOC was in Florida and got COVID, so I wanted to do something on her. I've had a few failed streams when I tried. Let's see if tonight's fails on me. I've had a hard time getting the proper connection, so I had to start a new stream. And last time it took about this time before they cut me. So AOC, this is her contact office, 202-225-3965. As always, I start with their contact. This clip will start out right with 202-225-3965. You can contact her office if she is full progressive on things like, that the housing security during our pandemic, where she was on the street, on the streets and sleeping and really fighting for us, and ran in to vote right when Mama Bear called her in and allowed her to do that demonstration for her props. So thank you for that. Her committee assignments, always impersonal, national security, international development, and monetary policy. Interesting, fun stuff there. I did take a couple hours off after doing all this research, so it's a little more fresh again. It was kind of an overload earlier today, all day dog, active, and doing this. Her voting history is mostly uneventful. It's basically what you expect for, I mean, they cover her plenty on her voting history. When I looked at her, though, I think the most important thing is always to follow the money. Who's her top contributor right now? When you jump on this page, it's Alphabet Inc. Alphabet Inc. It didn't click with me right away. I guess it clicks with some. That's Google. That's YouTube. That's who I'm talking about right now. And again, they might cut me. But if they do, I'll just start in the stream. So they are currently her number one overall in her career, and the number one for the past 2 years. This is everything they have here. You can see, I don't know all of this. Nest, Jigsaw, Verify. I've heard Waymo, Capital, YouTube, of course, Android. This is their, Google, the Google Cloud, Google Maps, all this, Calico, I don't know what that is. Sidewalk, I don't know what that is. But this is them, and this is who is her number one. Google is her number one financier. That's AOC. So yeah, she is one and in the people. She has no connections. That doesn't sit well with me in any shape or form. But that's where we're at. AOC. She got a good amount of change this past couple years. Doing really well on the income. Don't know why she spent almost $5 million, but a lot of her cash in hand goes to other Democrats in closer races, and most of them have been CIA, ex-CIA, or what they call the CIA Dems, who have heavy CIA connections. And even though her past is not CIA heavy, she does give her money pretty heavily to the CIA people. And again, top contributors right here: Alphabet Inc., University of Maryland, and University of California. Amazon, yes, that's the top 5. That's really comforting. And I didn't do the research on this thing. That's why this is crashing, because it is not as good as it could be. When you go to PAX, it's always funny because she gets all that money from Amazon, and I mean, she gets these money from these major industries, but they don't call that a PAC. So she just gets money from industries. So that's why she's not PAC. She's not sucked down to the PACs. But her career, it's all about, University of Berkeley, Alphabet Inc., City of New York, Amazon, Apple, New York University, Microsoft, University of New York, AT&T, Facebook. Man, the AT&T, Facebook, Apple Inc., Amazon, Apple. that's a rough page. That's a Kaiser Permanente. Oh, I shouldn't have scrolled down. I forgot about that one. That was Walt Disney, IBM, U.S. Postal Service, the U.S. government. What the what? Yeah. Okay. I'm done with that. That's AOC. She is a person, personally funded just from the grassroots, all from scratch. Everybody was going for her. And now you look at her top contributors, and it is a laundry list of who you don't want to be your top contributors to be a progressive. Everybody does become bought and paid. And she has made, that's not this one. She has made a lot of money on the donation station. Her elections have been not even close since she's taken over. This is not going to be probably a worry. She has a lot of people trying to take the money to push her is there, but they've tried before. They tried it right off the bat. The Democrats tried right off the bat, and Joseph Crowley did not give up. He might have got knocked out on the primary on a close race, but he did not give up on the election. He went back out there, even though he had lost. And this is a firm confirmation that they believed in her in that area. And she has done a couple pretty good publicity stunts. I'll give her that. And she definitely looks good on paper if you're a pro-cannabis. I would say that with her money coming from universities, that she probably wouldn't do anything outside of the Overton spectrum. Like, she's not going to do anything that's not socially acceptable on this, but she's allowed to go that far because her state has already made those steps as well. So yeah, that's AOC. She is not a grassroots candidate anymore. She is not undetached from massive amounts of corporate money. She has raised millions upon millions of dollars. And while she is more of a public figure now than an actual politician, I would say she's trying to be a persona.
Ocasio-Cortez is describing Republicans who are attacking her for taking a New Year's trip to Florida with her boyfriend. She responded to one critic saying, quote, "If Republicans are mad, they can't date me. They can just say that instead of projecting their sexual frustrations onto my boyfriend's feet, you creepy weirdos." Joining us now to discuss is CNN political commentator and conservative blogger Mary Catherine Ham. And you know, Mary Catherine, Happy New Year to you. We were wondering, we were thinking, how do we wish her a Happy New Year? And we thought, let's wake her up early and talk about feet with her. So,
I'm fine with it.
What do you make of all this?
Well, first of all, I woke up like this, so I think you have an authority on people being sexually frustrated by my mere existence. It happens all the time, and I'm glad to be able to discuss this important issue with you. The plight of the super hot in America has long been ignored, and AOC has started a national conversation about this. And, you know, I know we've all dealt with it, and by that I mean AOC and you, Brianna, and myself, and John. Well, the point is, you know, we can start an organization or something. And just the other day, I noticed the IRS keeps sending me notices, even though I've never expressed any interest in them. And it's like, why are you so obsessed with me? But one day you wake up and you think to yourself, is there more to life than being really, really ridiculously good looking? You know, I did it, and now I'm here. AOC did it, and now she's a congresswoman. And
yeah, that's good enough for me. So that was pretty funny, though. Good for you, CNN. You actually had a comedy bit without trying to be too comic about it. That was quite funny. And she's a right-wing blogger, I guess. Yeah, conservative blogger. So she enjoyed attacking AOC. She was very, very much excited for it. But I have to agree with her. And again, you don't have to agree with the person. I bet if I listened to her or found out anything about Mary Catherine Hambone there, I wouldn't like her. But that was pretty funny. And CNN had a pretty good clip on there. And always got to see how she actually...
Thank you, Madam Speaker.
This is her most recent.
I've been serving in this body just under 3 years. In that 3 years, enormous amount has happened. But in response to the Republican leader's remarks when he says that this action is unprecedented, what I believe is unprecedented is for a member of House leadership of either party to be unable to condemn incitement of violence against a member of this body. It is sad. It is a sad day in which a member who leads a political party in the United States of America cannot bring themselves to say that issuing a depiction of murdering a member of Congress is wrong, and instead decides to venture off into a tangent about gas prices and inflation. What is so hard? What is so hard about saying that this is wrong? This is not about me. This is not about Representative Gosar, but this is about what we are willing to accept.
She says that, but she's probably like the 15th person to say the same thing pretty much that day. And so this is about you. This is about your opportunity to say the same thing that all those ladies behind you already said today. You're already just saying it again, and nobody needs to hear this. I literally felt like I was going to listen to that whole thing today. It's not going to happen. Let's keep it short and sweet. But with all this criticism, she did get COVID. She did come down to Florida. She partied with her face off and in Miami area. He got COVID. And guess what? I got COVID. I had COVID about the same time she did. It was going around because there's a billion people down here for Christmas, New Year's, and it was a very packed area. And she got it. I got it. No big deal. But it's funny because she's a hypocrite of DeSantis and comes down here and parties in the state because it's open and wild. That's this
not just
right here.
The Republican leader, but I have seen other.
That one right there. So I think he gets
AOC
back.
was seen partying maskless. You're hearing everyone actually being critical of your policy, but then she comes to Florida and enjoys, the free state. Can you tell me a little bit about that?
Well, I mean, look, I think if I had $1 for every lockdown politician who decided to escape to Florida over the last 2 years, I'd be a pretty doggone wealthy man, let me tell you. I mean, Congress people, mayors, governors, I mean, you name it. And it's interesting, though, the reception that, that some of these folks will get in Florida, because I think a lot of Floridians say, wait a minute, you're bashing us because we're not doing your draconian policies, and yet we're the first place you want to flee to basically to be able to enjoy life. And so I'm not surprised to see that continue to happen. I could tell you, I mean, there are probably about a half dozen governors who had restrictions on their people and then were spotted at various points in Florida. Some of it's been public, some of it's not been public, but people tell me these things, and so these things are spotted, and so that's just the reality that we're dealing with. I think I'm happy, though, that Florida is a place where people know they can come and they can live like normal people. They can make their own decisions. Fauci, again, he's railing against.
Come on down, get COVID. It's okay, no big deal.
The restaurants. I mean, these poor people have had, they've done very well in Florida because we protected them. But I mean, this is not an industry that's easy to do very well in. And he's singling them out as if that is somehow such a huge factor when there's all these other things that you could be pointing to.
I point to he's done nothing for servers and bartenders, that he's opened up the entire country to come down here and absolutely destroy the service industry down here and stress the crap out of us out. He's giving money to teachers because that looks good on paper. He's giving money to police because that looks good on paper. Hasn't done anything for the industry that he's incredibly stressed out and pushed it to the brink.
I just think it's wrong, but people know they can come, they can go get a beer. They're not going to have to show papers. They're not going to have to do anything. And look,
Nothing
just
at
look
all.
at what we're seeing now. How big of a failure have vaccine passports been? Okay, if vaccine passports succeeded, you would not see a lot of the stuff that you're seeing in a lot of states that implemented them. And so all it served to do was discriminate against people based on an individual choice, create a two-tiered society. And yes, they are moving, like I said a couple months ago, they are moving to update that to say, in some parts, they're going to say you need a third shot to be able to do. So so those policies have not worked. And I think ultimately, look, people vote with their feet. I always say I'm so happy with our Floridians. I'm not asking for people to come move, because we've got great people. We've got a lot of great stuff going on. I think we're going to do a lot more great stuff. But the fact of the matter is, you know, if you look from July of 2020 to July of 2021, we led the country in where people were wanting to come to. And I think that that's a result of protect.
Warm weather, locked in your house, not wanting to be up north during the cold. Oh, you didn't include that at all because you have no concept of what these people are actually talking about. I talked to like 300 a day.
Protecting people's freedoms and making sure that we had a state worth living in.
Oh, I can't wait to leave. 2 more years. 1 more year. Who knows? So that was his response, and I couldn't even leave him alone. Good for me. That was AOC. As much as I could handle. AOC. Congratulations, Stony Progressives. We made it through it. Just think alphabet group when you think of AOC. Alphabet letters. Alphabet word salad. And she talks with her hands, so I guess she's trying to sign something and let us all know that she's actually completely corrupt and corporate, but that's who she is. She is the alphabet group. We need to